Welcome to
Coasters Online.
Have Fun and Enjoy Your Time. So you might be thinking, why are they wearing sunglasses today? Well, it's to celebrate this beautiful sunshine we've been having, everybody. It's so good to have the sun out. And I think it just makes us all feel just a little bit better, to be honest. So this week, guys, we are going to be talking around the question, who is Jesus? So we're going to start off looking at some pictures. Okay, they're going to come on the screen in a moment. And I want you to shout out, if you recognise the person, shout out who they are, okay? And then we'll say at the end, we'll come back after the pictures and we'll see how many of those pictures, how many of them that who you knew that they were. Okay, so let's have a look. So how many of those people did you know? We had Shrek. Did you all know who Shrek was? Probably, I would have thought so. We had Ant and Dec. Ant and Dec are my fave celebs. We had Bob the Builder. So I'm sure most of you knew who he was. Now we had a pop star who this little one suggested, and her name was Ariana Grande. Is that how you say it?
Oh my goodness, Mum, yes.
Okay.
Ariana Grande.
There we go. And then we had Spider-Man, and we had Fireman Sam, and we also had a footballer. Now, in my head, he's a recent footballer, but he's probably not. He's probably been retired for quite a while, but he was very, very famous back in his day. And I still think that everybody would know who he is, but maybe the new generation don't. But it was Mr. David Beckham. And then we also had the Queen. So I would have thought most of you would have known who the Queen was as well. So that moves us on then, that this morning we're going to talk about who Jesus was and what he means to us.
Who is Jesus? What would you tell someone who asked you this question?
Very good question, Hope. I like that. Well, in the book of Matthew, which is in the beginning of the New Testament in the Bible, in chapter 16, verses 13 to 14, it says this: When Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." When Jesus was alive, people often speculated. So they often would talk about who Jesus was, you know, and sometimes they got confused about who he was. And in this passage, Jesus asked his disciples who they thought he was. They might have been confused and answered that they had heard some different stories of who he might be. Even now, even in this day that we live in today, some people have varying thoughts. They have all different types of thoughts about who Jesus is. So people had been waiting for God's promised saviour for many, 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 many years. And unfortunately, when Jesus came, a lot of people didn't actually recognise him as the Son of God. Jesus is sort of quizzing his disciples in this. And by this point, they should really realise who he is. But they've also likely heard some people talking about him, and they might be wondering, what the truth is. So Jesus makes his question to them a little more specific.
But what about you? Who do you say I am?
That's what he said directly to his disciples. He said that question. And Simon Peter, who was one of his disciples, answered this: "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Peter here, he acknowledges Jesus as the Messiah, Saviour and Redeemer, Son of the living God. Maybe it was that whole walking on water that really made Peter believe. But Peter had been clearly convinced of who Jesus was. And Jesus really was so happy. He commends Peter for realising this and having the understanding of this.
Jesus acknowledges that Simon Peter has hit on the main point. He has not seen who Jesus is because of what someone else said, but because of what God clearly announced. Jesus calls this disciple Peter, which means rock, and promises to build a church on faith like this.
On faith like his.
Like his.
That's right. And as for us, we, of course, we know who Jesus is, don't we? We have learnt who Jesus is through the Bible and through these stories in the Bible and what he did. And we, because of that, we can rejoice in knowing that, in that knowledge that we have. He is the fulfillment of God's promises to us and the Son of God and God himself. We can have utter faith in that, and we can want to tell others about him as well, just because about how great he is. Okay, that is just a little snippet of who Jesus really is. Okay, so that is all from us this morning. Enjoy the sunshine while it lasts. Have a really fantastic, blessed week. Take care.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Bye.